and by continuing to tell the truth about our lives. So let me add my voice. I pledge to continue to speak out. I pledge to never give up. I will do everything I can to keep my voice, number one.
You would think that the idea that North Korea might have a hydrogen bomb would be somewhat alarming to those of us who are here on the West Coast. But we went out on the street today, and it seems like if you ask people a question in a cheerful enough manner, we Americans will offer congratulations for just about anything.
The U.S. Vice President will head to the Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, but not apparently to enjoy the sports.
Quite frankly, we're traveling to the Olympics to make sure that North Korea doesn't use the powerful symbolism in the backdrop of the Winter Olympics. We'll be telling the truth about North Korea at every stop. We'll be ensuring that whatever cooperation that's existing between North and South Korea today on Olympic teams does not cloud the reality.
Pence also plans to take the father of a student who died after being jailed in North Korea for attempting to steal a propaganda poster from a hotel in Pyongyang. The idea is reportedly to remind the world of the atrocities that happen in North Korea.
You may think the media are capable only of skepticism and loathing, but think again. Journalists can love, too. Their latest crush, the Democratic People's Republic of North Korea. Kim Yo-jong, whose brother is, of course, the undisputed dictator of that Stalinist hermit kingdom, is at the Winter Olympics this week. And according to the press, she's a huge star, a bigger star even than our vice president, Mike Pence, or for that matter, a bigger star than any of the actual athletes. Don't believe it? Consider some of these descriptions. From the Washington Post, quote, "The Ivanka Trump of North Korea captivates." From CNN, she's stealing the show. The New York Times says she turns on the charm. Reuters, the newswire, meanwhile, writes this, quote, "North Korea has emerged as the early favorite to grab one of the Winter Olympics' most important medals, the diplomatic gold." Ugh. Well, reporters gushed over the world's last totalitarian state. Mike Pence, who again is the vice president of the United States, was attacked for not standing up to honor North Korean athletes.
Now, was this the place to make that statement? Or did he just forget to get up?
I thought that Mike Pence said that it was inappropriate to make political statements at sporting events. Wasn't he that guy who walked out of the football game because people were kneeling and
he would say that's in his country, in their own country, is what he would say to that.
But he's representing the United States of America, isn't he?
We have to be respectful because, you know, what we do know about politicians is they end up sitting with people that you and I say, well, why are they sitting with them? You know, so if you're in Korea, you need to stand up. You need to stand up and show respect.
I gotta tell you, Whoopi, I think if I were there, I wouldn't have stood either. I have such a problem with what's going on in North Korea. Again, people are literally being starved into forced labor. They don't have any civil society.
But we have, I'm sorry, baby. We have supported regimes like this.
Like Russia.
For many, many years. And that are still doing it. And so the Olympics are supposed to be the one place where politics is not supposed to play a part. That's my understanding.
I find it... It's very interesting that the Pence, you know, he decided to do his peaceful protest. It's very interesting that he didn't take a knee because you wouldn't have known if he was paying homage, because taking a knee is not disrespectful, you know, because you can take a knee to propose to somebody, take a knee to pray to somebody. So I think him not taking a knee, him sitting down was more of the nonverbal spit in your face.
I know. And let us never forget that protesting is one of the great things that we do in this country. That's how we got the civil rights movement through. That's how people were able to bring light to what was happening in Vietnam.
So, but Hillary, hold on. Before you go, we'll let you, we have one last question. You know, Makers has just been this big mega 3-day event, but in the next big global event is the Olympics. So we want to know, who are you rooting for? What are you going to watch? What's the story?
Dylan, I'm going to watch as much as I can see. I love the Winter Olympics. You know, I love the I love the athleticism and the stories of our athletes. And I'm excited that Adam Rippon and Gus Kenworthy will be the first openly gay Olympians for the American team.
I'm gay. North Korea announced that they finally were able to successfully detonate a hydrogen bomb. The world is excited. People are sending their congratulations.
That's really good.
Yeah, would you like to congratulate North Korea?
Congratulations, North Korea. Finally. I mean, it's about time, you know?
Fireworks opened the Olympic Games in Pyeongchang, but competed for attention with a diplomatic spectacle. A historic handshake between South Korean President Moon Jae-in and North Korea's nominal head of state, Kim Jong-nam, at a welcoming reception. The greeting served to underscore the apparent divisions between Washington and Seoul.
Thousands of the world's best athletes are marching together in one stadium this morning for the opening ceremony of the Winter Olympics. But the most talked about moment was happening in the stands. Take a look at this fascinating picture. You can see the vice president there, Mike Pence. He is in the front. But then look, just behind him a few feet, sitting right behind him, that is Kim Jong-un's sister. And this comes hours after the vice president called North Korea, quote, the most tyrannical regime on the planet.
Congratulations, Kim Jong-un, on everything you've done. You've done a really good job. Keep it up. Stay safe. Good work.
Congratulations on achieving your dream, North Korea.
What I want to talk about is what I think is really of importance to the people of this country. That is that there's a group in Washington that really wants to push for a war. The Korean people don't want it. People here don't want a war, but they don't know what a war is like. They think you just push a button somewhere.
Well, but
That's
hold on. Let me just say that I've never said this to a communist before, but I actually agree with you. I don't want a war in Korea. Good. And I think there are people in Washington who are pushing for it. I think you're absolutely right there. Mm-hmm. I guess where I disagree with you is we don't know what the people of North Korea want because they're not allowed to say what they want.
Well, that's
and I'm a little, really?
Yes,
so do they have internet access there? Oh, they don't? Okay.
I've been there. They know what's going on in the world. They know perfectly well what's going on in the world.
How would they know? Because it's illegal to watch a foreign movie there, so how would they know?
You're making up a lot of stuff. The
Is that not
people
true?
in North Korea are very aware of what's going on in the world. North Korea has a 100% literacy rate. Did you know that? I got that figure from the CIA fact book.
Well, I've seen it as well. But if you can't read anything but the propaganda,
they are not in some kind of a, jail. They're not. They are people who want to get out from underneath the threat of war that the U.S. has posed ever since it invaded their country in 1950.
Okay, now I know you don't want to debate, by which you mean you don't want to answer real questions, but let's just try a couple of them. If they're free, why can't they leave?
Look,
that's a fair question.
People go back and forth. You're taking this whole in a whole other direction that shouldn't be of any significance.
So I'm going to be there cheering them on, whether it's skating or skiing or anything else. Although I have to tell you, I shut my eyes at the luge and the skeleton. That's too scary. But I wait and open them to see who wins. So let's cheer our Olympians on, and let's take that Olympic spirit of trying to bring people together and fight for what we know is right.
Well, they fell for the oldest trick in the book. You get a young, pretty woman to sell your product. I mean, that's what they do. He sends his younger sister over there, and that's supposed to take the harsh edge off the regime. Meanwhile, the regime is killing people in concentration camps. The North Koreans want to drive a wedge between the South Koreans and the United States, and they duped the U.S. media into it. CNN was like the PR machine for the North Koreans. They think they're worldly and they're so sophisticated and they're so informed, but they were duped by a dictator. And to your point, they think, the media, that diplomacy trumps everything. They don't care about the results. So they will see a handshake and a smile or a summit or a treaty, and that's the end goal for them. They don't care about the results on the other side. Now, the other thing that was interesting was that the media itself traffics in propaganda. And so does North Korea, so it's no surprise they're both in lockstep. And the U.S. media seems so intent on not being pro-American that they went so out of their way and they cozied up to a human rights abuser. This was from Reuters, and I just have... The crowd applauded as she stood for the South Korean anthem during the opening ceremony, while her big smile and relaxed manner left a largely positive impression on the South. Now, they trick the reader into thinking the crowd applauded for Little Rocket Man's sister when in fact they were applauding for their own national anthem. They're also tricking the reader into thinking that the South Korean people are warming up to the Little Rocket Man's sister when in fact Willie Geist, who I think is a Democrat, but who I respect because he says this, he was there. I can report South Koreans here are not as enthralled with Kim Yo-jong as the North Korean cheerleaders as it seems some in the media are back home.
Right.
Something about the North killing, starving, and imprisoning its own people. I mean, that just says it all.
The lines of goose-stepping soldiers, presided over by North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un, are not subtle. They're designed to look frightening.
He rules by fear, intimidation, torture, concentration camps.
But retired Lieutenant General Chon In-pom, the former commander of South Korea's special forces, says Kim Jong-un's posturing is actually a sign of weakness.
He's a dictator. When he goes to sleep, he probably has to take sleeping pills because he's afraid of his own people. So I think he needs this parade, not for you and me, but for his own people.
After a spate of North Korean missile and nuclear tests and talk of a preemptive strike in Washington, the nightmare scenario is Kim Jong-un making a fatal miscalculation.
If he presses the button, he's going to die anyway because it will probably start a war and they would lose.
I don't know what he's thinking, but one part of him must be thinking that I have nothing to lose except, make history. So that's the kind of thinking that really worries me.
But North Korea's agreed that its athletes can march under the same flag as South Koreans at tomorrow's opening ceremony. It's a positive sign the North is ready to negotiate, says the general, because sanctions are hitting hard and President Trump's bellicose language has them worried.
Initially, his mode of language was the kind of language that the North Koreans could understand. Do we need to continue that? I would say to Mr. Trump, sir, you've succeeded, let's stop here.
I pledge to never give up.